it's Helen here from MK Fit Body Bootcamp with another episode of Real People, Real Results. Now on my couch tonight is the lovely Jen Delderfield. Now Jen has been a member since May last year and you've lost 21 pounds of body fat, which is amazing. So we're going to talk about Jen's journey today and find out how she's done that and a bit about her experience. So, before we talk about how you've lost the 21 pounds of body fat, let's just talk about your journey up to that point. So what kind of things had you tried prior to visiting us?
So I joined a gym. I was a member of the gym for about 2 or 3 years. But I was really reliant, and this is my biggest mistake, really reliant on a friend coming with me.
Okay.
And, you know, when she couldn't come, I didn't go, and if she wasn't there, I didn't necessarily work as hard. So gave that up. As a bad idea, and then decided I wanted to do yoga, which I really loved, but I was overweight, you know, and I was quite a lot overweight. I felt a bit uncomfortable in the classes and couldn't do as much as everybody else, so you know, that didn't help me in my, you know, kind of mental state either in my journey. So that was kind of what I tried first of all, and then saw your video.
Okay, so that's my next question. So what is it that spurred you to get in touch with us?
So in 2014, end of 2014, my mum died, and I was just that year getting heavier and heavier, eating to compensate, and I just thought after she passed away, I just thought I've got to do something for me. And I just was watching your video one day and somebody had liked it on Facebook, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a go. Can't hurt not to try it. So I came along for the trial. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, so a lot of people are very nervous when they come in for their first session at Fit Body Bootcamp. Now, can you remember your first session and your first week here in general?
I can.
Tell us about it, Jen.
I came with my best mate, Jen, who's now also a member.
Yeah.
And we walked in and we're expecting to see Neil and have a little bit of a chat, you know, and a little bit of an introduction into boot camp. And we walked in and Silvana, one of the trainers, was here, and she said, "Oh, just get stuck in. Neil's not here, he's on holiday." So we were a bit like, crikey.
Thrown in at the deep
end. So we did one session, and then Silvana said, "See you tomorrow." And, you know, and that was a bit kind of like, "What, we come back tomorrow?" She said, "Yes, you come back tomorrow." But I do have arthritis. So actually, you know, after doing that for sort of 3 or 4 days, I actually couldn't walk down the stairs and was in quite a lot of pain. So spoke to you, spoke to Silvana, backed up a little bit, so we started to come every other day, and now I try and come 3 or 4 times a week, but make sure I try and have a day's rest in between, although it is getting better now that I don't need a day's rest. So it was kind of baptism of fire really. Got stuck in, but the lovely thing was everybody was so positive. I said to Neil in my first week that, you know, it's just so great that there were people here that, you know, were kind of giving you a thumbs up and smiling as you were going round, you know, and no one was dying and walking out the room, you know, crying.
That doesn't happen.
You know, so I thought, well, gosh, this could work, you know. So
Brilliant.
That's how it started.
Excellent. So, moving on, I want to talk a little bit more about the knee pain that you have. Like you said, you have arthritis in your knee. Can you explain a bit about that and how we have worked around it? Because you have still managed to achieve amazing results. Arthritis is quite a common thing. There are a few people here at Bootcamp that do suffer with arthritis. So give us a little bit about your point of view on that.
So I was diagnosed about 10 years ago, and that's always been a bit of an issue with trying to find exercise that works for me. So I just took advice from you, took advice from Neil, worked with Silvana and James on finding alternative exercises, and now I kind of know almost like the portfolio of exercises. If there's one that everyone else is doing that I know is going to aggravate my knee, I try it, and if I can't manage it, then I adapt it. You know, and kind of look for one of the trainers if I need some help, and they'll show me a different exercise. And I try if we're doing a repetition of 3 sets, I might try it in the first set, back off in the second set, you know, so I'm just adapting it all the time, and you know, and I know my body and I know how much my knees can take, you know, so.
And I think what's brilliant about Jen is that you do always, you try things, but you do know your limits as well, and you do just get on with it. Like you say, you know what you can adapt, how to adapt things, and so now that you've been coming this amount of time, Jen does just sort of come into a session and get on with it, and the trainers are there to give you other alternatives if need be. But after that sort of initial sort of month to 2 months of figuring it all out,
it makes you feel a bit scared, when you first start, because you're worried that you're going to injure yourself. But once you get over that, kind of initial worry, and you know how to adapt it, it's much easier to stay in control. And now, I'm doing stuff that there's no way I could have done when I first started. So I know my knees are getting stronger. And Sally's been really helpful as well. So, I've done some work with her as well. So that's really good. Yeah,
Sally's our osteopath that we work with. Highly recommend her if you need to see anyone injury-wise. So let's move on. So other than the fat loss results, what other benefits have you experienced?
Quite a few. I've got a little list. Really, I think the main thing is, for me, last year, it was just time for me. And and I've been giving everybody else in my family time, and I still do. But this was about doing something for me, and I come here, and for the 45 minutes I'm here, I don't think about anyone or anything. In fact, the only person I ever think about is my mum, because she's the person that motivates me to keep going. But that's just when I'm doing high knees, and I think, shit, I can't go on any longer, and I just think of her, and that makes me carry on. But it is that, it's made me a lot happier and a lot more able to cope. I feel much more confident because I've lost the weight. So, certainly from that point of view, it's really helped. Obviously, I'm much more toned. I've got much more energy, and I've started running. So, that's a major benefit to be able to do so much more than I could before.
And I think a lot of people are in that position where they're looking after everyone else. Everyone else comes before them, their partners and their children, and even their work colleagues and things like that. But what we like to say to people is, unless you look after number one, you're not in the best position to be helping everyone else. And if you get sick, then everything goes to pot. So make sure you look after yourself first and foremost, and then you're much more likely to be able to look after everyone else that you need to as well.
Yeah, my family's very fit as well, so I was feeling like the fat one that was driving them all round, and now I don't feel like that. I feel like
you're joining in, and they're keeping up with you.
Well, they did come to boot camp in the summer.
That's true.
They did struggle.
Okay, so what advice would you give to somebody who might be watching this video, sat at home, thinking about maybe getting in touch with us to improve their fitness and get in shape?
I would say do it for you, and don't rely on coming with anyone. Start coming with a friend if you need to. But what happened when I joined was my friend couldn't carry on, and she's only recently come back and become a member. But I think you have to do exercise for yourself and not be reliant on anyone else, because you hear so many people say, "Oh, I can't do that because my friend let me down tonight," or they've injured themselves, so now I can't do it. And I just made the kind of the point was I was going to do it for me. Yeah.
And they're a friendly bunch here, aren't they?
They are, definitely. And I've made new friends from coming here, and it is a real community. But I think you need to get support from your family as well. So if you're needing to lose weight, then tell them that this is what you want to do, and get their support, because that is just so important for them to be able to give you the time and to fit in, make sure they're back from work so you can go out, and it's all that
makes
balance.
your life a lot easier, doesn't it?
Definitely.
If you've got that support behind you.
Definitely.
Excellent. Okay, so my last question that I always ask everyone on my couch, I'm very big on motivational quotes. I like a good motivational quote. So what is your favourite?
Well, when you asked me this question the other day to have a think about it, I'm so rubbish at remembering all these quotes. I love reading them, but I never remember them. And I was thinking back to what makes me come here, and why I started, and it was because of my mum. And the thing that motivates me when I'm here is her. But the one thing that Silvana always says is, when you're struggling, think about why you started. So that for me is my motivational quote, really. It's if you're struggling, think about why you started.
Remember your why.
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent. And if you don't know your why, then sit down and have a good think about it, because when times get tough, that's what pulls you through, isn't it?
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, well, thank you so much for doing this interview with me today, Jen. Give me a big high five. I will see you guys again soon in another episode of Real People, Real Results. Until then, take care and stay happy and healthy. Bye!